Now in this video we're going to look at this integrated circuit here. So this is what it is. It's a 74. It's actually the HC version, and I also have the LS version kit. All of these are HC. The 7408 has an LS version. I fried the 74HC05 up here, so I took it out of there. I bought another kit though, so if I want to make a video with that one, I can use that one, or if I fry any other ones, I'll still have the backup kit. But in case, there's different versions. That's the main takeaway. This is the HC, and the integrated circuit's on the board there. So first off, it is 4 AND gates, 2 input AND gates, and there's AND gates with more inputs. But the main takeaway for an AND gate is that you need all of the inputs to be high. So in this case, that's going to be 5 volts. 5 volts is a good supply voltage to use with these integrated circuits. Some of them are definitely made for 5 volts. The HC version, you can vary it a bit. But in case, main takeaway, 5 volts. That's what we're working with. And the wires from the power supply have alligator clips on the end. I clip them little jumpers, put them to the rail, and then these other jumpers connect the other rail right there. And so we need all inputs high for the output to be high. Otherwise, if any of the inputs are low, the output is low. So that one and that one have to be high for the output to be high. And so to power this, this is a common way to power integrated circuits. The top right pin, pin number 14, connected to the positive rail. So we consider that 5 volts. Pin number 7, connected to the negative rail here, negative side of the power supply, our 0 volt reference point right there. So that's the bottom left pin. You really do not want to leave inputs floating with these integrated circuits. The data sheet and some other resources online go into a lot more detail, but the main takeaway is the inputs are looking at the voltage. They're stray signals. Even when I touch the board, it's kind of shifting voltages around. They're not strong. If you tie the pins directly to the positive rail or even through a resistor, that's a whole lot stronger. So we'll look at that later, using these as either pull up or pull down resistors. But in any case, you can take the inputs and put them either directly to the positive rail or the negative rail. So I should be doing that with all of the AND gates I'm not using, but I'm just going to put it on this one to demonstrate that. And we'll be okay without tying all of those to positive rail. So let's zoom in a little bit. And so we're just going to look at using this AND gate right here. And so to begin with, I have a couple of obnoxiously long jumpers because I used all the short ones that I found so far. So I have a number of these jumpers from kits. These are really nice, but they don't make for seeing the circuit terribly easy on video. But these are pretty simple circuits, so we actually want to go to the negative rail right there for our first demonstration. And then same with this one, negative, negative at both of the inputs. So like I said, you don't want to leave these floating. We'll look at using probably just the pull down resistor, but maybe pull up. It's a resistor that either goes to the positive rail for pull up or negative rail for pull down. But in any case, now we have a low input at both inputs. We're going to take the LED. So we want the LED to light up when the output is high. And so we're going to take the long lead of the LED and put it to the output of our number 3 AND gate right there. And 220 ohms is good for protecting an LED from 5 volts. And it may not even be completely 5 volts. It may be about a volt left, because this goes to the negative rail really good, these integrated circuits usually, but not always to the positive rail. But we'll get close to the voltage. So it's powered right now. The LED is off. If I yank one of these, now we are in limbo. And actually, the LED should be kind of on right now. Not on fully. Oh yeah, we have, we have this one to low. So if I yank both of them, now it's floating. It's actually turning on and off rapidly. So if I go positive though, it stays off. If I go positive with the red one at the other input, it stays off. So now it's turning on and off rapidly because it's getting false signals. So you don't want to leave it floating. But now you can see it gets brighter when I connect both jumpers to the positive rail. So it's full blown high right now, 5 volts. So, like I said, we don't want to leave it in this state right now. It's turning on and off rapidly. So, first I'm going to take a 100 kilo ohm resistor just because it was already on the board here. Normally I would use 10 kilo ohms for this, and but exact value, not terribly important. There we go. We're going to go to the negative rail with the input. So, that is enough to pull down the voltage to 0 volts, even 100,000 ohms. I may be able to falsely trigger it though, and it looks like it's doing pretty good. So there we go. That may be because I kind of lost connection with the board, but in any case, it's preventing a false signal. That is the main takeaway. I'm going to do the same thing with the other input. So let's zoom in a little bit so we can see better. So we'll go up 3 spots. So there's the LED, one more, and then there's the other input. Slide over there, and we'll put it to the negative rail. And so that holds the voltage down. It is solidly off right now. So we need 2 high inputs. Now we can take the jumpers again, go to the positive rail right there, and then we're going to come to the top input there. And so now it has a positive, a high signal, I should say, right there, 5 volts. And we'll take the blue jumper, same thing, give a positive. So that one's high now, that one's low, it's connected to the negative rail, sees 0 volts. I accidentally touched the LED. That's normally why you turn the power off while you're wiring stuff. But there you can see, now we have a solid high output because we have 2 solid inputs. These resistors, whatever current gets there and leaks through the resistor, doesn't matter. The pin sees a direct connection to the positive rail even though the resistors are there. They're just there to make sure that it pulls the voltage to keep it from floating. And like I said before, we could just put them to the positive rail instead. That is holding the input high right there. So now we're holding that one high, that one's floating, but now we're holding that one high. You can see it's solidly on until we give a low input. So we can just give a low input with the blue one for now. So normally you would use a switch, a mechanical switch or whatnot, to make a direct connection. There's a number of different ways. But there you go. Now we got, one of them is negative, one of them positive. The output is off. So now the load does not have to go, the output does not have to be the source where then the load sinks into the rail. We could make it so the LED lights up when the output is low. So we'll plug this resistor to make it a little less confusing, and one of its pins is starting to bend, so it doesn't really like being pulled out. But there we go. We're going to take the short lead, the cathode, go to the output, long lead, the anode is down 1. And so now we can take the LED, and instead of going to the negative rail, the protective LED, we can go to the positive rail right there. So the output is low because at least one of the inputs is low. We know that from before, and that wire really got bent out of shape. So let's give it one more try. There we go. So positive rail, there we go. So LED is on. The output is low because it's high there, and the low is from that jumper. Now they're both high. So the output is high, the LED's off because the the output needs to be low. It needs to be 0 volts for current to go through that way. And it is really that straightforward. Now, not all of the AND gates, the integrated circuits and other AND gate versions you may come across have 2 inputs. The rule is just that for every input that you have, they all have to be high for the output to be high. In this case, we're working with 5 volts. High is 5 volts, and then low is 0 volts. And again, it may not actually get completely 5 volts, but it's close enough. It's one of 2 states, either almost 5 volts or 0 volts. It probably is spot on 0 volts. So there may be more inputs. You may have 3, you may have 4 inputs. I think That's as many as I've seen so far. There may even be a 5 input AND gate. I can't remember. But there can be as many as possible, so whatever you need. But the most common is this 2 input AND gate right there. And they just both have to be high. The output will be high. So, hope you enjoyed the video. Check out one of these other videos I'm posting. Make sure you subscribe and click the bell so you get updated with new videos. I will see you in the next video.